This is 2OF Entertainment.
And here we are, Paul.
Oh, there we are. Here we are. Yeah, another day. Great. Yeah.
And yeah,
So we get through the winter. That's all I can say. One day I'll be able to shed this heavy garment.
yeah, it's a bit cold. It's a bit cold today, but we haven't had any snow, so I don't feel Canadian today.
Well, there's nothing like being Canadian as far as I'm concerned, anyway.
Yeah, I walked into that, didn't I? I walked into that stuff.
No, yeah, well, we appreciate you. We give you a big hug. No problem. Yeah, we're friends. And I appreciate it. We're in our 4th year, so this is
we're doing something right.
Really, yeah, I'm really appreciative of being able to talk to artists from across the country. And today we have Charley Farrero. You'll be amazed at what his work is. It's quite different than what you normally have. Like a lot of times, 2-dimensional works, and we have some fiber and some different people doing some different things. But Charley is I'm going to say he's a master at sculptor, ceramic artist. So we're going to be showing his, the storytelling through his imagery that he creates with slip cast and found materials. It's quite exciting to see the journey that he's gone through, which is quite different than a lot of other people, and he stayed dedicated to his process. And let's bring Charley in, and we'll talk with him.
So
there he is.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Well, good morning it is, I think, for you guys.
But, good morning, early here.
Very early. The sun
good
hasn't
morning.
come up yet.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Yeah, and bonjour as well.
Gentlemen, I'm going to leave you to take over the rest of the show. Paul, I've have the opportunity to speak to you at the end of the show, maybe, if not. But in the meantime, gentlemen, have a fantastic show, and speak to you all very soon.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, good day. Good day to you, Charley. Good seeing you again.
Good day.
Yeah, well, a Saskatchewan guy living in BC. I don't know. Just kind of BC in the winter time.
Well, only for the winter, Paul, because it's it's just. But I'll be back on April 20th in my great studio in Meacham. And
it's you and your lovely wife are just amazing. I introed a little bit about what you've done. So you studied in Regina. Were you part of knowing Jack Serres and some of those ones that were in the ceramic area out of the university?
Yeah. Actually, I just. In 1972, I just took some classes at the extension department, ceramic extension department, and there was Marilyn Levine was teaching there, Mel Bolan was teaching there, and then I decided to take classes with Jack Serres, and that was a big influence in my life, because I was a systems analyst working for the government, and I was pretty free with my time. But so I took classes with Jack, mainly Jack, and I didn't know the degree in fine arts. I already had the degree from France in science, so did not need to. So Jack Serres was important. He was my mentor. I consider my mentor. I was not, because at the first I start like every potter, doing some throwing on the wheel and making utilitarian wear and all this kind of thing. But Jack Serres also pushed me into, try something else and things like that, and say, don't stick to it. He said, in your life, you'll change. You'll go through different aspect of your work. And he said, I did. He went from printmaking to, and things like that. And so also there was a big influence in there that the funk movement of California, of Davis, California, had come to Regina, and I was aware of it. I was not into ceramic, but there was Gil Hooley, Vic Zakansky, and all these things. So kind of, I was aware of that kind of work, and so. But then I moved into a communal studio with Anita Rockamora and Mel Bolan in Humboldt, and then to Meacham in 1979, and always doing my own work. So always,
Right. Yeah. Okay? I'm going to get David to start up our first image, just so we have an image up there, and then we'll continue. There we go. So, yeah, there. So people are kind of getting an idea of some of the stuff that you work on. It is so different. Like there's literally a story in every piece that we're going to show today, and it's amazing the kinds of things you've gone through. It's not just make a pot, make a vessel, right? We're storytelling, and I think, can you tell us a little bit about this, where this journey started? Like, I know we talked about your background just now, about your university and your mentorships and the people you bumped into, but how much did they really influence you, like in where you are today? Like,
I mean, I'm influenced by everything. It's something that I watch on TV, something I read, something I hear, about something nature, my own. And I approach ceramics in about 3 different ways. I kind of, like the piece you see now, it's kind of personal, but I also do some contemplative pieces and some political pieces, works. And these are all wall sculptures that I've been doing. I started in 1990, and then I stopped for about 20 years, and then in the past 7 years, I've been doing those back to the wall sculpture. And this one is called Mes Racines, my roots. And it shows it's me. I'm from Paris, France, so therefore you see the croissant, and you see the croissant on top of my head. This is my own face cast in alginite, first, and then in clay, and then the French rooster with bleu, blanc, rouge, the color, and the little tablecloth at the bottom of the restaurant, and on top of it there is the Basque cross. I'm a 1/4 Basque from the Basque country on my mother's side, and so this is what they call the laburu, which is the cross, and the curtains that create the scenes are kind of the street of Paris, where I was born and lived for 23 years. And you can see in the back little cobblestones around my face there at the bottom, and that were really important for me because I was involved in the uprise of the student movement and workers movement in 1968 as a student in Paris, and so this is part of my DNA, I would say. So this is Mes Racines, my roots. That's a personal self-portrait, I would say, just explaining myself.
What size is that, Charlie? What size?
That's about in inches. That would be about 18 inches high and about 12 across.
Yeah.
14.
No, 14, just giving more. The scale of how
by 18 inches, and it's you mentioned element, slip cast element. The rest is hand built, and
right.
The rooster is slip cast.
You've had a number of, I guess, shows or actually retrospects as well. I guess in Saskatchewan, you've been showing those last half dozen years. You've been traveling and showing.
Yeah, in Saskatchewan, I've also participated in a lot of group exhibition, and in Canada, and I've been group exhibition in my residency in China, Mexico, France. I've done residency in France, in the south of France. Great little village to do ceramic residencies called Saint-Quentin-la-Poterie for all the ceramists that want to apply. Just apply there, Saint-Quentin-la-Poterie in Gard region. It's really great. They provide you with a really nice place to be. Yeah.
It's nice to know that. Yeah, it's nice to know where to go for things that people of like mind.
Yeah, it's a little village full of potters. Potters. They all, of course, they work with earthenware, which is,
Okay. So here we go.
This is called the last grain. It's made with the people you find, the personage that are in there are found object from that I brought back from France. Their little santon pottery found that's called the Santon Provence, and the rest is all hand built and slip cast. And this is the last grain. A little story of in Saskatchewan. Do you keep the last grain for the crop next year?
Right.
In there you can see the elevator, Saskatchewan grain elevator on the left. Well, on the left, in the right on the picture, but on the left, and that now disappearing. There is also a little Ukrainian church on the right, in a little frame that's also disappearing, and up there it's a kind of a transformed head of a cow, skull with a little boy on thing, and of course a striped French T-shirt on it, which is me. And so the last grain, the farmer, the farmer, the wife or whatever, she's asking the little chicken, the hen, did you eat the last grain, or why is the last grain gone? Kind of a little story or fable of that. It's also, the farmers in Saskatchewan where I live, and have a hard time these days until, especially the single farmer and things like that. That's a crisis thing. And you can see the shape that I use sometimes. The shape of the whole piece is trapezoid, like Saskatchewan map. It's the Saskatchewan. It is in that thing. It's about the same. It's about, I would be at the top. It would be 18 by 16 at the bottom, 18 high. 12 at the top, 16 at the bottom, something like that.
It's great to be able to tell these stories, because I think it's really important. Rather than just a two-dimensional painting of something, but actually choosing objects and making objects and placing them in context to each other. So, like you said, the elevator is leaving the landscape. I mean, they took down the Meacham elevator a number of years ago, and I remember that moment. And it's devastating to small villages and communities.
Oh, it is. It was
elevator.
I don't know if we'll see another piece later on, but there is, it's just, I'd moved to, here, I'm moving to different pieces.
That's okay. We can talk about it a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. This is, it's about a piece about the Indian residential school. And it's really prevalent in Saskatchewan. And this is called Musquewaken, which is kind of around Lebert, was an Indian residential school. And you can see the curtains here that surround the scene are kind of the Cree decoration that they use on the beaded Cree decoration. Right. Used a lot and things like that. And the little slipcast children with animals there are from molds that I found. I found them here in BC and then shipped them all back to Saskatchewan, there are molds that made in the 60s, 1960s or 70s, about the Indians, what they call the Indians, and I've got several of them, and they show up in my piece. In the middle, I built the kind of red brick building broken. Is not, I think, dismantled or broken anyway. Not that it exists. Well, it does exist, I think. And it's exactly the number of windows of the front, and the front there is a priest at the front, and you see all those little crosses because they have discovered, of course, like many other residential school, a lot of cemetery, unknown graves and things like that. So I don't know how many they discovered
Yeah,
and
it's a travesty because it's right across the country, not like
yeah,
Saskatchewan.
it's really important in Canada. That's something for us to deal with, and these pieces are made in the spirit of reconciliation. We have to know about that history. And that not especially to feel guilty or whatever, but to know about it.
Yeah, no,
And
it's important. What you're doing is helping educate through your work. I know you do
yeah,
workshops, and you do when you go to a gallery, they'll give you time to do a workshop with kids and adults, and people come and learn from you, not only the process, but they learn the imagery and what they mean. And when you see all this work together on a wall or on tables, it's like storytelling all the way through, like from the beginning to the end. It's a never-ending book, really, is what it is.
yeah, and usually I don't tell those stories. Thankfully, you invited me to tell them, but I was planning to write a book with a story on the side or something like that, because usually I just have a title, and I want people to react, to search or whatever, and in the sense that I want people to react to it. But I usually say my work is my statement. My statement is my work, but I should maybe tell a little more, and I think this interview just helped me a lot to.
Well, I think you should really look at a Canada Council grant, and I think some of that is to produce that book, Charley. I think it's really important, and I have a feeling people hopefully will see some of this work and step up, but rarely that the artist usually has to do the asking. But it's probably warrant of a Canada Council grant for national purposes. Like, this is for national, not just regional. I mean, it's national importance, and I think it's important that it's education, but it's also about your work. And I think it needs to be out there a little bit more visibly. And like I said, this is a different format than just a painting or this different type of sculpture. It's going to go on to. Now, you mentioned that these are two very different things, but two different subjects. But
Yeah, these are two. Actually, they both address some country. The one on the left, with the eagle, is called NAFTA. Everybody knows what NAFTA means, but for me, it means not always friend to America. NAFT. Not
I
always
need a
friend
hat.
to-
I need a hat with that on.
Yeah, NAFTA. That's a good idea. Or
Yeah.
toque, maybe a Canadian toque. And actually, so you have the eagle, which you don't see, but the eagle's it's a kind of a found object, piggy bank, and it's got two coins in the back. A Canadian coin and a Mexican peso, and things like that. On top, you have a little Canadian boy with a toque on top of the toque. Yeah,
Oh, that's the two. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
actually, my spouse, Bonnie Gilmore, made the toque. Just asked her to make the toque because she's more Canadian than me. And at the
Yeah.
bottom, you see the Mexican kind of flag, green, white, and also with the pottery, Mexican pottery, which is actual Mexican pottery, all found object. And so
Well,
that's kind of my comment on NAFTA. not always friend to America, and it's true. And especially this was done in 2018 or whatever, but now it's more and more true.
It makes more important even today. Yes,
it's more important even today.
Yeah,
and on the right, it's called sangre, which means in the Mexican, the Spanish word for blood. And in Mexico, the Catholics religion built their churches on top of the pyramids, on top of because the place was already a sacred place. So in order to, they just build on top of, and you see that in Puebla, in Toluca, and a lot of places you can see underneath. And now they are starting to excavate some places where you find the pyramids under the church. And Toluca is one part especially. And so I used a little slip cast church, and on the bottom I hand built with Mexican clay, actually, that I'd done in Mexico. And with Mexican clay, I built a kind of a little pyramid with gold inside and all this and some masks, Mexican masks.
Oh, yeah.
So that's another. The relationship is that Mexico is involved in and both, and I'm Canadian, so Canadian Mexico, and
you and Bonnie traveled down to Mexico quite often in the winter.
We did before COVID. I went for about 30 years, and also did a residency for 6 weeks with 10 Canadian and 10 Mexican at the Oriarte Foundation in Puebla. That was in 2000. And then the Mexican came to Banff, and we did a reverse in 2001. And it was, and I speak Spanish fluently. And so that was easy. But after that, Bonnie and I, went for about 18 years, no, to 18, but about 14 years we went together. But we traveled around and also spent a lot of time on the West Coast. And we actually created a little studio out of nothing. We worked with local brick makers, took their clay, fired with them, which of course everything blew up because they fire with coconut, and so it's and pretty fast, so differently than. But it was nice. But that piece on the right was done in the base of the piece on the right was done in Mexico.
And I like, I guess, the analogy of that. Like not only there's deeper meaning to these pieces. Otherwise, it just looks like she's standing on a pedestal of some kind. To understand the layering of one object on top, what it means to put one object on top of another sacred object, right? You've got these things, and you're covering up one of the pasts that was so important to the people at the time. And then this is colonialism in itself. Like,
exactly.
We're going to make you Catholic, and then we're going to put it on top. We're going to cover up what you were and put it on top of it. The symbolism is very, very strong.
Yeah, I try to use a lot of symbolism. And okay, this is called Highway of Tears. When I was aware of the abuse and the murder of Indigenous women and other women in BC. But when I came to BC about 5 years ago, in the winter, I was invited to look after a house and things that I see all these red dresses hung into, especially in rural areas, in little acreage, you see red dresses. So I investigate a little bit, and then I found those molds. And so I realized that the red dresses were representing all the women that were killed, murdered on the highway between Prince George, that's highway Prince George and highway 16, I think it is. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, the one by Prince George going to Prince Rupert, up there. Anyway, so I decided to incorporate this. So at the bottom you see a highway, and you see in the clouds and the highway of tears, the little tears falling off with the faces in the cloud of women, of native women, kind of thing. And the figure in there is from a little mold, again, from a mold that I found in that series of molds that I brought back in BC. They were all really wet and covered and moldy, but I fixed them and worked on it, and it's called the Indian Princess. So I felt it was right to use it and sing that. And I cut all these cut out of all these dresses and hang them and glue them on and I'll fire them.
Yeah, it's nice that you can reuse some of these things and give them a fuller life than being in a box somewhere or unseen, like this little molds that you pull back and redo. So it's nice that they get.
Yeah, I was trying to donate to some native school or whatever, and I've been talking to Lyndon Tutusis and David Garneau about maybe doing some work together.
Yeah,
and
I think it's important. Yeah,
with this, and I mean, David Garneau was not too hot on the thing, and I asked a couple of other people, but Lyndon Tutusis might do them, and I had another friend, another Cree Métis friend that maybe wanted to use the mold after the installation. But I've got that idea to make all these sculptures together and do a big, as you've seen in TV video, I've seen on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's more and more things being produced, so it's good to see things more than just painted pieces. It's nice to see some different ways that we're interpreting this as artists and trying to explain it. And you know what? If you don't freshen the story, it dies. And it's nice. It's nice to see things in a different light where it all of a sudden it resonates with certain people where a painting may not resonate with them. It looks too aloof or too something. These are really, they're childlike. The children look at these things in detail more so than a lot of adults. They can relate to these fun little characters, and whether it be a chicken or a little person or a little dog.
Or little, like you see, like little cats with human bodies. Sometimes I combine both of them, and this is an old mold of an old guy that I found. It's a funny piece. The mold of the little person there is kind of looking in his pants, inside his pants. It's open, kind of thing. But I changed that, so I put something on top. I put that little nut with little mice in it, and I call it mice dinner and things like that. And of course, I use the egg as that kind of the sun. I use that in a lot of my sculpture. The sunny side up of things. Yeah. So kind of and the curtains again have little faces in them, and kind of they create an atmosphere of medieval kind of surrealistic kind of things. And
it has that feeling. Yeah, the old stonework in the background.
Yes.
Like you.
Those stonework and a little blackened a little bit, a little suit in it, and it's like the chef is bringing you to the meal to the two little. It's fun, and
Well,
the same
now that
with this
we're
one.
talking about we're talking about food, so we'll just talk about this kind of food instead of
Yeah,
mice.
this is food is kind of, this is just, it's it's on a what I call a turkey platter. They're kind of this turkey platter that you use that. So I made a mold of one of them and I used it a lot to to include a lot of sleep cast food. Just as a
It,
abundance, kind of
yeah,
abundance.
it has
And I
a
use,
well that corn of plenty. That there's that. Uh, I guess it's the feeling of plentiful, right? It has that.
yeah, abundance,
Yeah,
plentiful.
yeah,
I use the boat a lot into because I
yeah.
into
Well,
other.
it's a good vessel to not only hold things in, but it has a lot of meaning. The transportation.
Exactly. Like the meaning of traveling, the meaning of hope, also meaning of the boat has been used by a lot of artists and things like that. But I like it myself, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. The Haida Gwaii use that boat quite a bit. The boat that carries all the creatures and the black canoe. Or the things. Some of those things are from BC anyway.
yeah. All this is go back to the to Mexico story, life story. As this is called the invasion, and you can see on the left you have the church, the king, the queen, the queen in white, the bishop in the middle, and then the army with the horses. And on the right you have kind of a Mayan pyramid, an old ruin, and some masks and some gold masks and some chains. The chains are not ceramics,
Yeah.
but it's like it's a, and also the sun also, but that's a little bit of rain. So and underneath, but I mean this is invasion. On not on the. Oh, it's funny. It's on the pretense of cat, Catholicism, and we're gonna teach the savage, but in order to get the gold. It's a little bit like Trump today with Greenland. We're gonna get, we're gonna
He wants
take
to be,
off.
he wants to be a conquistador. Yeah, that's what he wants to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, he must. Yeah, conquistador.
But
That's for sure. And so, and you have the praying hand with the chain on the left too, which is a symbol of Catholicism. Which these are all molds that have been made by people and that I found or were given to me and things like that. So that's another about colonialism.
yeah,
You
I
know,
like I like I like the little chess characters. I mean, the
yeah,
symbolism.
I've got the whole set of chess pieces, and I used in a couple of, but
Yeah,
only one. It is. I mean, it is a chess piece. Chess games, and
yeah.
also, and conquistador, like you said.
Well, I
Was
think when young artists looking at this and they said, "Well, can you do this?" And I say, "Yes." All artists, like young kids or whatever, this is a great way to start building your own story. I mean, you can find found
yeah,
out and garage sales or whatever, and you say you want to build a story, and you can build these little, whether you cast them or slip cast them, or they just glue them on to something just for
yeah, glue
yourself,
them on
for
and
ideas.
a lot.
Yeah,
And
no, it's great imagery. Like it's great image and storytelling, and I think it's really it'd be a great workshop for somebody that wants to build something, along a storyline of reconciliation or understanding about it. And there's a big tickle trunk full of stuff, and you go through and you with the glue gun and you said, "On today we're going to make something." It's a not that yours is that simple, but it looks that simple, Charlie. It looks like
I
I could
did.
go make these myself, knowing full well I'm not a ceramics guy. I wouldn't know where to start. But
Well, I mean, I did a workshop where I provided a little element, and I also told people that was in Thrift Current when I had a big show there, and we had a 3-day workshop, and people were creating things. I mean, one person was created a piece about a husband with little trucks, and so we had little, with all the elements, I brought some little toys and little things from a dollar store and things like that, and so that people created some nice pieces, like you said, glue them. They did the background in ceramics, and then also, and here also it's the boat is used as a vessel, which is case in point from Mexico. An invasion, was a boat used. I mean, thing that's by caught. Voilà. And okay, see, here we go back to the story of this is called all gone, all going, gone. Like it's at an auction,
Yeah.
going, gone.
But
And
you know,
so all the elevator, and so some sleek cast, some are hand built. One is hand built with Meacham on it, the big one in the middle. And this is on a big special ornate frame that I made a mold of. And so I've used in a couple pieces, in 2 pieces only. It's a big, heavy frame. And you can see some elevator are broken. Some of little elevator, actually, they were made by a friend of mine, and he gave me all these leftover pieces. I call them found object. Evan Quick, he died 2 years ago, and I had a show with him at the Craft Council. But a guy, another ceramic that I've known for 50 years.
Yeah.
And see, I mean, that's disappearing in the prairies.
Yeah.
Mainly the prairies. I don't know. Do Ontario have elevators, or do they?
What's
They
that?
must have. Do Ontario have a grain elevator, the wooden one like we used to, or is that just the
No,
prairies?
I think they mostly just have silos of nature of some kind. I
Yeah,
don't know if they have
yeah,
large grain facilities,
they
but
have grain, but
not
not the elevator,
yeah,
not the wooden that we have in Alberta, Manitoba, and
which are deteriorating very fast. You know, they're like you said, they're like hen's teeth. They've taken out the railway track and
oh
all
yeah,
those.
that I saw that happening when I moved to Meacham in 1979. I think in 81, 82, they took the railroad out, and in 2021, 20, they
Yeah.
took the elevator. 21. It's
My
been
my my yeah, my story to that is I used to work at the Western Producer in the graphics department,
okay.
and they always produce the Saskatchewan Wheat Pool calendar every year. And on the back of the calendar, there was always every little place there was an elevator, and every little town village had and the railway track. And I was actually the guy who removed the railway track from the map. And I slowly every year I was just taking railway track out. Then they'd make a new print, and pretty soon the little elevator was there, but there was no railway track. And I have to put my hand up. I was the guy who took the railway track out. I was told what
and I remember when they moved the track out, I actually got a lot of nails, from the spike,
actually
big nails and forged nails. I've got a bucket full of them and things like that. And also, I remember when they moved out, I remember a friend of mine actually from Saskatchewan was a building mover, and he moved the the station, the train station out, and developing. And last year we had one church being demolished, and so elevator, church, and then the bank moved out, and so that was the end of our little. And then they closed the school.
Yeah, we both share a friend in that he makes a lot of things out of railway spikes and builds his sculpture from them. His birds and his owls and his fish, he uses them all the time.
Okay.
We're talking about the same guy. James Corbin. Yeah, I was on that. Anyway, this one here, I love this bun or this bread. It's just glowing.
A baguette. It's a mold of a baguette I made from a real baguette, and it's kind of a little sandwich, and it's called Chez Marie Antoinette. And as you can see, I mean, the phrase "let them eat cake"
Let them eat bread.
yeah, that's been addressed. That what I used a little bit, and because you can see around the little figurine on the right of kind of pseudo Marie Antoinette with little cake at the bottom, and on the left you have just common peasant bread, and things like that with a sandwich and a little cat. There is two cats, and you can see all chez Marie Antoinette. Actually, I looked at Marie Antoinette. This is at the brothel, kind of thing. It's like, with a big phallic baguette going to the.
Well,
just fun and the same time, and also, to show the difference between the class society, and between the have and the have not, kind of in a little bit, but
So when you're producing these pieces, are you kind of living the story while you're doing it? Is that how you get involved? And do you work on more than one piece at a time, or how do you work that?
Well, usually I do I've got an idea and I do several frames, and then I've got all these backgrounds framed, thing like that, and I just said, what suits with that? And I got all these molds. So I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that. I work in a series about, right now I've got 6 that are half finished, that are waiting for me in the studio. I've got 6 here. So I've got the basic component, the base, the frame prepared, and sometimes a container, a boat, or whatever, or sometimes nothing, and I say, okay. Plus, I've got a lot of pre-done little slip cast element with a fitter. For example, in this one, I had all this. I knew what I wanted to do with that figurine, and so I wanted my Antoinette and the cake, but I did not know what to do. And then I looked around and I saw that baguette mold. So I said, well, let's make a contrast between the cake and the baguette and the breads and things like that. So I said, well, what frame? And so when I painted it, also I painted the frame in gold, to show the aristocracy. And also the base, which was added on, was a kind of a blue, kind of Versailles floor, kind of.
Okay.
So I use my own history, my own knowledge. I go on the internet sometimes to check what would be the best pattern to use, but sometimes also let my imagination just wander. And it's not true to history or not true to form or not, like here behind Marie Antoinette, you see a little Greek kind of playing the violin. It's a figurine that I use a lot and things like that.
So. They're fun little pieces that have a good strong message.
Yeah,
I think that's where it's kind of nice.
And you can see here the contrast also. You see beside Marie Antoinette, there is a cat with a human body, but on the left there is a cat body with a human face, human voice. Also,
it's fun piece.
This is also a fun piece. It's kind of, there is a fable from his opus which was then translated or used by Marie Lafontaine, Jean de La Fontaine in France. That that in school, primary school and school, not high school, but secondary school, we learned to learn those fables, and you had to recite them word by word. And there was a fable about the mouse and the lion. So I did not have a mold of a lion, so I used a mouse and and an elephant. It's a story that one day the lion saved the mouse, and
Is that
later
the one
on,
where the mouse pulled the thorn out of the lion's paw?
no,
Is that
that's the one with the mouse. I think the lion is in a net. He's been captured in a net, and she eats
ah,
up at the net, and that's the back that you see. Background is the net.
okay.
Kind of it's a tangent on the relationship between the big animals and the small animals and the mouse and thing.
Well, the mouse and the elephant have always had this. The elephant was supposedly afraid of the mouse, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's
and,
also
and he's
yeah,
so big
yeah.
that he's so afraid.
So yeah, maybe that's it. He's so afraid that his trunk is going up, ooh, calling for help.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
Anyway, that's another fun piece. I use a lot of blues, in that sculpture, and contrast for.
so. Where do you fire your work? Do you have a gas fire or do you have a wood fire?
No, those are mainly electric fired. Most of
You
them,
have elec-
just a mid-range temperature, because I want them to be fairly solid and fairly, because
yeah,
they travel a lot. And if you
yeah,
do them at low fire, they're a little more. You have to fix them all the time and things like that. And so my studio in Meacham, mostly that I've done it, I've got 3 electric kilns, 2 gas kilns, 1 salt fire kiln, 2 wood fire kiln. But for this kind of work, I only use electric. And
yeah,
here, I used to work at North Island College, but now they have closed the ceramic program, not to work, but to rent out space through organization. But now they close the program, so I do rent. I work in the. I've changed one of the room here in the house into a studio, and because I am build and sleep cats, and I work in the garage, and I rent a kiln at a couple of friends' place here in Courtney, and also in Fanny Bay, just south of Courtney, Comox Valley. And so it's been a good relationship to know some people here
yeah,
and to develop certainly.
yeah.
Okay, this is called what is it called? Chester's Party. Okay,
Okay.
so this is the background here. It's you worked at in a newspaper, so you know those kind of roll up for advertising, those kind of rubber that they put on a drum to print poster.
Right.
Anyway, so I got one of those, and it said Chester Fried Chicken. It was an advertising for the co-op in the back. So I used in the background. I said that's fun. Everything that I find, I mean, in my studio in Meacham, there is a lot of fun things that I might use in the future. My wife Bonnie says, "Wow, you got to get rid of it." No, I might use it. And I've
I'm
got,
just,
I've got, and that chicken is a ceramic piece I found that for 25 cents at the garage sale, the big chicken. So I incorporated that with little wooden pieces and
yeah.
things like that, and having fun and
Well, you realize how much chicken is a big part of everybody's diet. Like typically, there's a lot of
oh
chicken, whether it's KFC or the fast food end of it as well. But they are a staple, along with our other meat that we eat. But it's probably the way we produce chickens is
yeah,
grotesque. They're
yeah,
not
this
they're
is
mass produced like a factory, and it's one of those things as well. Understanding where food comes from, right?
it's funny that you mentioned that, because I've seen some communities allowing people now changing the bylaw to allow them to raise chicken in a limited quantity for eggs and things like that, because eggs is also a big part of our diet and things like that. And so, in France, and I've seen that in the rural community in BC too, there is they change the bylaw, but because usually you cannot, I don't know if you cannot raise poultry in,
No,
but
they call it. Yeah, it's called rangeland, and my my son-in-law had chickens for a little while in Regina until he was reported. But the kids loved them; they were great pets. They loved the chickens, and they got eggs, but then they got turned in by the police chief or the poultry police came
the
in.
poultry police.
Yeah, they had to come, and they actually gave them away to some friends on an acreage that were they wanted to raise chickens as well. So they ended up having to. It was a pretty sad day for kids.
It is a chicken.
They raised them
I tell you,
from chicks, and
we buy a lot of chicken here because beef has become so expensive, and on an artist budget, chicken has become chicken and pulled pork. Yeah.
Yeah, you need a fishing rod out there. You need a fishing rod.
Yeah. Well, I used to fish down in Mexico all the time and bring, from the surf fishing and things like that, but not here.
Even fish, if you go down to the docks, it's expensive to buy. Yeah. You want halibut or haddock or something like that. It's expensive, but it's good. It's really good when you can afford it, and it's
when you
nice.
can afford it. Yeah. Oh, this is another self-portrait. This is called La Clé des Champs, which literally means the key to the fields. I mean, this was done actually one of my earlier pieces in 1978 when I first did that mask of myself, and when I moved from France and I came to Canada and especially Saskatchewan, I felt such a freedom. In French, prendre la clé des champs means to kind of, what do you say it in English? To not to go to school, to when you avoid going to school, what is it called?
To play hooky?
Play hooky.
Play
So I
hooky.
play hooky from France because I did not like France anymore, and I came to Saskatchewan and then to Meacham, and I did that first piece in Meacham actually in 1979, 1980, and this is my own piece with the key and the shape of it's like a keyhole of an old French key.
Okay.
The keyhole, the whole total shape of the frame, and things like that. And I use pieces of ceramics that that include the landscape, and the vertical piece was just freedom, kind of freedom too. And I felt really strong when I came to Canada that I was free to do anything. I mean, I was a systems analyst, but here I took clay, and was just kind of, and clay allowed me the freedom to do anything I wanted. With difficult financial times, but it was so. This was an important piece for me. You can see the piece between this one and using the same face and mes racines, my roots. This is my new roots, kind of.
Well, Meacham was a great connector to a lot of artists in the day, in the 70s and 80s.
There was Greg Audi, there was the Dancing Sky Theater, there was Lee Ward, that was music. Oh, this is a piece I did after a residency I did at Medicine Hat. And this is kind of No More Bull or something like that, kind of a joke of Alberta.
Yeah.
Something, another funny piece.
Yeah.
This is, but that is a treaty,
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, the same done in
the Hudson's Bay blanket, a little bit on the windows, and
Hudson Bay blankets, and also in jail, just to show that, we signed the treaty while you're in jail, that when the reservation started, kind of. Another inside there is a ceramic of another found ceramic mold, a piece, and things like that. And so,
No, it's
yeah, just a strong piece for me. Also in terms of reconciliation and
right.
yeah.
Cool. I love this.
Oh, this was a fun piece that I did in collaboration with my spouse Bonnie Gilmore. It's called the BCT, Bacon Clown Tomato, BCT sandwich. So we made a fun piece. We had made all these Bonnie had made all these little faces, and so we for another proposal for kind of totem piece, which totem is not a word we should be able to use, but for a column piece, those little elements. Yeah, I've been reproached to use the word totem. It's not my culture. Anyway, that was another story we can talk about.
Oh yeah,
And so, cultural appropriation or whatever you want to call it. Just this and 2 pieces of bread and another fun piece. Yeah.
I think it's still important to have it as part of a conversation. Whether it is so-called appropriation. I mean, yes, and you should be able to comment on things as an artist, and to have somebody say no, it's not. I think that we need to have that right to do that. I mean, in a respectful way.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And we got another couple of here.
Yeah, this piece, the one on the left, is fairly important. It's called Americana. It's a 3 tiers kind of cake, and at the bottom you having the some found object pieces of Black people, playing music, dancing, and listening. On the middle, you have the kind of the bourgeoisie, and on the top, you have the top cake with the army, the Statue of Liberty, if you see it closer, broken down, and on the top there is the piper as a little Trump would be or whatever, that little ceramic golden pieces playing to his own drum, Trump to his drum, and things like that. And so this is very important to me. This piece was censored, removed from a show, then broken in transport. I revealed it due to the fact that it's not my culture. It might offend people and all these kind of things. So, but it's still alive and still here. And
I think you have to say these things, though, Charlie. You have to, as an artist, if you
that
feel
was done before Black Lives Matters. It was done in 2018 and things like that. So it's my own take on injustice, on class structure, and it is true. I mean that the Black were always, and you can see the columns are different. At the point, they are just stone. The ground is different, and middle they just with a piano instead of just a hand drum at the bottom, and at the top, who's got the cake again, and there is also the broken Statue of Liberty and things like that, and the army, which is so prevalent today.
It is. I equate artwork like this, not unlike Bob Dylan songs, that they never go out of style, because
exactly
his work is so contemporary again today for what its messaging is, and
I'll be another Bob Seger, all this, you're right.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's been great. it's been a really short conversation. Holy smokes, we went through a lot of work, and I mean, and this is only your ceramic work. Charley is also, I think you can see on his website here, imagery from some of his monumental sculptures that he has worked on over the years, and some collaborative pieces that he's worked on. But being invested in these little stories, I mean, it gets it out there, and it's nice when you can put this together in a book. I'm suggesting you should be doing one. There's hopefully money available for that. But
yeah,
I think it's, and get a good writer to help you write these things, and becomes it'll be a great get something a little thicker. You don't want it too thin a book. You want a big book. But anyway, Charley, thank you very much for today. I'm gonna bring David back in if he didn't fall asleep in his chair. Yeah, I think he's wide awake. There he is.
Yeah. Well, I applaud you, Charley, for for producing work like we're currently looking at the moment. It disturbs me that people, feel that they have to censor things. It's and certainly artists, because who else is going to shout in this world?
There's a fair amount of complacency in the world, where people let other people do their bidding, and
artists can be silenced. We can be silenced, but no, we can be censured, but not silenced.
It's just echoes in the 1930s again, which disturbs me deeply. But I think we should be in a world where everything should be seen as it stands.
Exactly.
And let people decide. If people find it distasteful, then go to the next piece or go home.
At least they react to it. That's what we want as an artist.
Exactly.
Is a reaction.
Yes,
love, hate.
Exactly.
No
anyway,
enough of the gospel according to David today. So,
well, I just say everybody kind of reach out to Charley and look at his website, and you can see his imagery. And if you have an idea for a show in your area or public showing, contact Charley directly and arrange it, because I'm sure he could figure out how to get it there to you. I mean, it's a great show.
Yeah, David, bring my show back to Europe.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I think I don't know whether or not that's in my skill set to do that, but
he'll be showing it in his studio or in his apartment or house that he's living in. Yeah.
Well, we hope that this has given you an opportunity to that slightly more people have seen it than it just being in a box getting dusty somewhere. So
I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that opportunity you guys gave me.
Okay. Well, thank Paul always, because he's the magician.
I can't pull a rabbit out of a hat. I'm sorry. But anyway, I think that's good for today. I think we've got it's been a really good talk. Short. It goes by so fast, and I've enjoyed it quite a bit talking with you, Charley, and we'll talk to you again, I'm sure.
Well, as we say to all the guests, don't jump directly off after the credits, because we have like to do a little bit of housekeeping. Thank you so much, Paul, again for bringing us another wonderful guest. Charley, I'm honoured, sir, to see your work today, and thank everybody else for watching. And if you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe to Canadian Art Today. And if you like it that much, subscribe also to the channel 2OF Entertainment. Until the next time, gentlemen, bye-bye.
Good one.
Thank you. Au revoir.